Hello, I'm Mark Mitchell, and I'm head of polling at Rasmussen Reports, a renowned independent polling company. Last month, in December 2022, we conducted 2 polls, which we believe are the most important we've ever done. They weren't political polling, which many would say Rasmussen Reports is known for. What made them so groundbreaking was that they were about a topic that profoundly impacts hundreds of millions of people. And surprisingly, no other reputable pollster has bothered to ask these questions yet. Questions on COVID vaccine safety. If you follow us, you probably will have already heard the results, but we sincerely believe that every adult in this country needs to see the truth about public opinion on this topic. This video is for you to share with someone who may not yet have seen the results, someone you think just needs to see this message. This video will be a combined overview of both question sets we asked, in a quick, facts-only Reader's Digest version, and most importantly, stripping out any commentary. That way viewers can make informed conclusions by themselves. And I'll explain a little bit about the methodology at the end for those who doubt the science of polling. Okay, now on with the questions. Asked of the 68% in our first poll who said they were vaccinated, do you believe you have experienced major side effects, minor side effects, or no side effects from your COVID-19 vaccination? 41% say they experienced at least a minor side effect, and 7% of them said they experienced a major side effect. 56% said they experienced no side effect. I won't read all the numbers here, but I will show you graphically each major demographic, and you can pause the video if you're interested in seeing them. One of the things you can look for here is whether you think the results are consistent across and among demographics. Here is gender, age, race, political party, and income. In this poll, 68% of respondents were vaccinated. Since there are approximately 260 million American adults, that implies that 177 million of them are vaccinated. According to our poll, with a 41% side effect rate, that means that 72 million Americans have experienced at least a self-identified minor side effect. Using a 7% major side effect rate, 12 million of those 72 million Americans experienced a self-identified major side effect. Asked of all Americans, do you personally know anyone whose death you think may have been caused by side effects of the COVID-19 vaccines? 28% of adults said yes, and 61% said no. Since there are about 260 million American adults, that implies that 73 million people say they know someone personally whose death they think may have been caused by side effects of the COVID-19 vaccines. Once again, here are the major demographics, so you can look for trends and consistency. Here is gender, age, race, political party, and income. Now look at the question by vaccination status. 45% of those who haven't been vaccinated say they know someone personally whose death they think may have been caused by side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. And 22% of vaccinated adults agree. 42% of unvaccinated adults say no, as do 70% of vaccinated adults. How concerned are you that COVID-19 vaccines may have major side effects? 57% of all Americans are concerned, 31% very concerned. 40% are not concerned, and 18% of those are not at all concerned. Here are those numbers by vaccination status. 80% of unvaccinated Americans are concerned about potential major side effects, and 54% are very concerned. 16% are not concerned. Among vaccinated adults, 46% are concerned, 20% of whom are very concerned, and 51% are not concerned, 24% of whom are not at all concerned. Here are party numbers. 74% of Republicans are at least somewhat concerned, as are 56% of independents and 43% of Democrats. 25% of Republicans are not concerned, as are 37% of independents and 55% of Democrats. How likely is it that side effects of the COVID-19 vaccines have caused a significant number of unexplained deaths. 49% of Americans say likely, 28% of whom say very likely. 37% say not likely, 17% of whom say not at all likely. Again, here are the demographic results among gender, age, race, political party, income, and vaccination status. Both of the stories on these polls, as well as the underlying crosstab spreadsheets, are available at links in the video details on YouTube. If you're clicking over to YouTube from Rumble or Twitter or somewhere else, please subscribe when you get there so that we can get this message to more people. We would really appreciate help in spreading the content of these polls because there are very big potential health implications. If you're so inclined, here are some suggestions to help spread this further. Retweet the tweet with the video or a link to it on YouTube to public officials, politicians, media personalities, or journalists. Share a link to this video on Facebook. If you're a member of an influencer community, ask for them to cover the contents of this poll. Copy any one of the many slides and paste them anywhere you want, though make sure to leave in the methodology information. You could even download the video and upload it to other platforms that we're not on. Now, I promise to go over methodology for those who are new to polling. We use a combination of automated landline, phone, interactive voice response polling, and anonymous online panel sampling. What you need to know, however, is that in both of these polls, 1,000 real American adults took the time to answer each of the questions as well as to tell us demographic information about themselves. We used every completed survey that we got in our results, and the demographic data we used was to weight each response so that the poll matches the demographic makeup of the U.S. using numbers from the latest census. The poll was regionally and demographically targeted such that none of the individual results were extremely highly weighted, something that often occurs in smaller or lower quality polls. Now, I often hear, how can the answers of 1,000 people accurately reflect the opinions of 260 million people? Now, I'm not going to delve into statistical concepts like the central limit theorem and normal distributions, but the truth is, these numbers absolutely and irrefutably, due to the laws of statistics, represent the opinions of the American public at large, at least within the margin of error. Now, the margin of error for this poll is 3%. And that means that when we get a numerical response to one of our questions of perhaps, say, 28%, the true answer of the population will, 95% of the time, or 19 times out of 20, be within the range of, say, 25% to 31%. Now, if you were trying to predict an election and you only took one poll, you can see that it would be awfully hard to get a real answer, especially when you're comparing results for two politicians who have overlapping margins of error. But when it comes down to an issue of knowing someone personally you think died from COVID-19 vaccines, does it really matter much if the range is 25% to 31%? What's more, we could poll on this topic 19 more times and would expect the results for 18 of those times to be within a 3% plus or minus range of some number between 25 and 31%, or 65 million and 81 million American adults, respectively, knowing someone they think died from the vaccine. The results are still newsworthy. But what about that 1 out of 20 chance that the real result is outside of the 3% margin of error? Well, this is a normal distribution, and it roughly defines the likelihood of numerical responses based on how far away they are from the, quote, true answer. As you can see, the probability trails off quite a bit. You can go use a normal curve calculator and plug these numbers in yourself, and you can see that the probability of the true answer being anything lower than 20% is infinitesimally small, and that would still equate to over 50 million Americans saying they know someone personally who they think died from COVID-19 vaccination side effects. If you have any questions or clarification points, please post in the YouTube comments and I will try to get to them. Thanks for your help in sharing our poll, and thanks for watching.